Wait, I think we're live. We're live. We really are live. Okay. Hello and welcome. Oh, we have some people, so hold on. I'll get to comments in a minute. I'm not really this much of a flipperty gibbet, but welcome everyone to September's book chat. Not September. We are in August. That's it. I'm giving it over to Carrie.
It's going by fast enough. Don't rush it anymore.
Welcome to August Book Chat. We're talking comfort reads, which is, I think, a favorite topic for a lot of us. I love to talk about why comfort reads, not just individual books, but like people have comfort tropes, they have comfort characters. And I want to talk about that today and like what yours are and what draws you to them. And I want to thank everyone for being here, those who have joined us in the chat and those who are here, our guest panel, Marcia, Erin, Rachel, Bree, and Sarah. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to go around the room because I'm really old school, and we're going to introduce ourselves. So we are going to start with Marcia because she said I could.
Starting with me?
Yes, we are.
Okay. I'm Marcia Scott, and I'm from Nevada. I am a voracious reader. I've read since I was 4 years old, and you can see I have a couple of books. They're all my favorites. I read romance. I do read mystery, suspense, thrillers, everything. A lot of nonfiction. I am a mother of one, Nana of three, and I guess that's it. I'm happy to be here. And thank you to my friends and family who have joined. I sent plenty of emails.
Yay. Okay, Erin, you're next.
All right. Well, I'm Erin. Thank you for having me, both of you. This is really exciting to be here. I run the YouTube channel, Erin's Reading Room, and I'm also one of the hosts of the Categorically Romance Podcast, where we talk about all things category romance. So I guess it goes without saying that I read lots of romance, specifically category, and that's me.
Okay, Rachel, you're next.
Hi, I'm Rachael Thomas, and I live on a farm in Wales, and I love reading, but I am definitely a romance reader. But for me, I like a feel-good romance as well, something heartwarming.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Okay, Bree, you're next.
Well, my name is Bree, and I am a Midwestern girl by birth. I was born in Missouri. I live in Texas now. I've been reading, I think like everybody here, since as long as I could remember. I was a 90s kid, so I read a lot of R.L. Stine, the Goosebumps. And then my first book that wasn't like a kid book was Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, which I've talked about hundreds of times. And yeah, I'm a mom of three. I've been married 9 years, aspiring middle school teacher, and I co-host the Categorically Romance Podcast, and I do Bookstagram, and any opportunity to talk about books, I'm always down. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. And Sarah, you are next.
Ladies, for having me here. My name is Sarah. I am the creator of and host, I guess, of the used to be the Categorically Romance Podcast with Bree and Erin, but I've stepped away. I am now. Thank you. I miss you guys so much. So I have a YouTube channel, the Bookish Knitter. That's where I'm known all over. I've been reading category romance for over 20 years. They were my start for romance reading, but I've had a book in my hand since I was about 4. And yeah, I love everything about reading. So thank you again.
Thank you for coming. And I want to mention that Rachel is also an author and has a new book coming out. We'll talk about that later. But y'all, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about it. I am going to quickly go through and welcome the people in our chat. We have Marcia Scott, which I assume is Marcia's daughter. Yes. Angie Garcia Art. And Alicia Abruzzi is here. Abruzzi. I'm really sorry if I murdered that, Alicia. And Allison Whiten, Terry Carter, which I believe is a neighbor for Marcia, and Selma Haywood. And I just want to thank you all for coming. Thank you for being here. And we're going to we're diving right into comfort reads. And for those of you who don't know, I'm Lucy Monroe. This is Carrie Nichols. We're authors who love to read. and we love to talk about books. Okay. And it started because she's a book pimp. FYI,
I'm always talking about these books. The next thing you know, well, I have my pen and paper beside me here because I'm sure I'm going to be right.
I know, right? Next thing you know, though, she starts talking books and I'm buying books. So, like I said,
we're in competition also.
Yeah, I get that.
We send each other boxes of books all the time.
And whenever I'm thinking of, I can tell the whole what the characters are doing, the whole story, all these scenes, and I'm like, but I don't remember the author of the title. Marcia, help me.
I love it. You're the one she calls. That's right. I love that. Okay, well, let's dive in and start talking about our comfort reads. What we're going to start doing is going around the room, and we're going to each of us is limited to 2 books we get to talk about. So because otherwise
it wasn't easy to limit it to 2, but
yeah, I know it's too hard. So this time, let's start with you, Carrie. Why don't you start with your comfort reads?
Okay. I've got this one from, it's Ishbel's Party. It's an old Harlequin Presents. It's from, let's see, 1986. And how I found this one is I was reading a interview with Abby Green, who currently writes for Presents, and she mentioned Ishbel's Party was the one that got her into romance and got her into wanting Presents. And so, of course, I had to track the book down, and I have read it so many times. It is just, I mean, it's kind of a train wreck, but I just love it. It's so full of angst. Because when I wrote to Abby and said, oh, I found it, and I read it, she said, oh my God. She said, isn't it just full of angst? And I said, yes, but it has a happy ending, and he does a nice grovel. And so it's good. And then this is I love this one. Kim Cates, it's sort of grumpy sunshine. Her name is Ariel. So, and she's, this believes in dreams and all, and he's very reality oriented, but he has 3 little daughters that he's, or 2, 3, and he's a single dad, and it just gets me every time. It has a lot of angst too, but different. This one I tend to read from beginning to end when I reread it, where this one, sometimes I'll start, oh, I like this scene, and then I end up finishing the book, but that one has both of them have a lot of angst. I guess maybe that's why I like it. It wasn't easy. It was my 2.
Did you tell me the title of that book? Because I got
Sky Full of Miracles.
Sky Full of Miracles. Sorry, because I remember you saying the name of the author, but I didn't remember.
Yeah, Kim Cates. Yeah. It's just, it's.
I love it. Well, let's go next to Sarah. I'm going to start hopping around, y'all.
Okay.
So Sarah,
you better keep on your toes. You don't know.
Better be paying attention.
So I'm sharing both my picks at once. I can do that. So The Best Man by Kristen Higgins, probably one of my favorite books of all time.
Yes.
This book makes me cry, makes me laugh. I mean, this is one that I could pick up and just go to specific scenes that I think, if I'm in the mood for a good cry, and I think we all know that, there are some days you just need that good cry. Yep. The scene in the airport with her wedding dress, where there's scenes in this book. This book, I love it. I just absolutely love it. It's the first in the Blue Heron series, and I love Kristen Higgins' new stuff. I like her women's fiction, but there's just something that my heart loves her old contemporaries. Yeah. This one and the Best Man, or not the just one of the guys, is another favorite. So yeah, love. The other one, I know a series that Bree is also a big fan of, the From Manhattan with Love series by Sarah Morgan.
Mine is in that.
Right? And I'm not going to say it, but you and I think the same. So this series is fantastic. We love Sarah Morgan. She's fantastic. Yeah. There's just something about this series that even though it takes place in New York City, because the friend group is so small, it still feels very small town. And it gives you that great small town atmosphere. And I just picked the first book off my shelf, but I could reread through this entire series over and over again. And it's an absolute favorite. Definitely a comfort read.
Did you get those from Book Depository?
Yes, ma'am. You know me in cover
I
Come
know.
on.
I really feel like we have to let Bree go next because that's where we got to go. All right, Bree, you're up.
Well, since, I was strong-armed into it. So mine is from the same series as Sarah's. It's Miracle on Fifth Avenue. So it's the third in the series.
It's the third, yeah.
So, God, I don't know. It's so incredible. I don't know. So the series is told like in two parts. Like the first 3 books, you follow these 3 group of friends that start a business. And then the second half follows like some siblings that their business kind of outsources. And in this one, it's Eva's story, and she's a hopeless romantic. She was raised by her grandmother, and her grandmother passed away like a couple years ago. So she's still grieving. And she gets hired by this local author's grandmother to go to his house. He's a thriller writer, and his family's under the impression that he's at a writer's retreat in Vermont. So his grandmother's like, go to his apartment and decorate it for Christmas. Like he's a total Scrooge. And so she goes and she decorates it. Well, he lied to his family. He shows up. She's there dancing and singing and for Christmas and decorating his apartment. And he's like, broken into my house. And she's like, your grandmother hired me. So there's this like, why would you be best friends with an old woman? I don't believe it, and blah, blah, blah. And it's New York City. So as romance purposes would have it, there is a blizzard and they get stuck together. And it's just, I don't know, it's peak coziness. Like Sarah said, the series has a small town feel, even though it's set in the city. I don't know, Eva just as a character just jumps off the page. Like she's a YouTuber and has a food blog, and she just felt so real. And I got lucky. Like I was reading the book and I was like, I wish Eva would have been a brown girl. And Up TV adapted it to film last year, and she was biracial. So I was like, somebody out there heard my prayers, and they did a wonderful job adapting it. So that's my first, I think, like Sarah said, like the whole series, I think, is a comfort read, that's honestly. Cool. So yes, definitely. I don't reread many books, but I do reread this one. I don't have to reread the whole book. Sometimes I can just like, read the chapters.
Yep.
And this is hard. So my last one, of course, I wanted to go with Rebecca, but I'm not going to do that because I talk about it all the time. So I went with another Daphne du Maurier, and it's Frenchman's Creek. And I don't hear a lot of people talk about this one. Oh. I will say, if you're a romance reader, she does do a thing that I guess a lot of romance readers don't like to see. There is a little bit of cheating in this one, but we learn very early on that the heroine is in a very unhappy marriage. And she's like, I need to go through this on my own and figure it out. And so her and her kids actually go to her husband's summer home in Cornwall, and she falls in love with a pirate.
Okay, I like it.
It's just so dreamy, like her writing and the foreshadowing. It's just like the very beginning of the book. It's like a forgotten century peers out of dust and cobwebs, and he walks in another time, and you're like, who are you talking about? Like, it's just these beautiful sentences before the story even happens. So yes, I love Rebecca, but I think I think about this book all the time. I want to reread it, hoping that the ending will be different. I'm always like, where would they be? What are they doing? Same with Rebecca. I reread it all the time. Like, is Rebecca actually going to be in the story this time? Like, I don't know. Total comfort author. I really want more people to read this one.
Did they make a movie or a series about that for PBS?
Which one?
Frenchman's Creek.
I do think there is. I've never seen it.
Maybe you need to.
I know there's
PBS.
Yeah,
they do good. They do good.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of watching adaptations of stuff I really like.
Yeah,
I know, right? Sometimes it's such a disappointment.
Yeah.
I'll with my comfort read, one of them. There's definitely adaptations that I absolutely love. Next, let's hit Marcia up now.
I am. Excuse me. This is a Silhouette Intimate Moments. Look at that cover.
Love that.
I mean, an Arab chic. Woo. Anyway, this book is from 1986. Paris Afton Bonds. I believe she's one of the founders of RWA or something like that. This is a book about older people. A long time ago. They're both 32 years old. She has gray streaks in her red hair. They both smoke. Now, this takes place over in in, well, actually Paris, it starts out. One of the first books I think I read besides Shauna by Wadi West, that was over in another country, but I just loved it. I love the connection between the two, the hero and the heroine. It starts out, her 6-year-old daughter is kidnapped, and they want to trade her for 6 prisoners. It's a very futuristic book, kind of, because everything is going on in here that's been going on the last 10, 12, 15 years. And actually, some of the things in this book probably would ban this book. And I'm sorry to say that, but it is just a very romantic book. And she asks a good friend of hers, who can she hire? And of course, it's Sheikh Rashid. And he goes, and they go on an adventure together to rescue her daughter. And they do finally, and it's just a growing fondness. And of course, he's trapped by all of the mores and the ethics of the other country. He already has a bride picked out for him and everything like that. And of course, back then, they had many concubines and wives and everything. And of course, she, being American, says, buddy, you're mine, and that's it.
We don't do that.
There's going to be no one else. And of course, him being westernized enough, he agrees. But it's a very good read, and I really love this book. I read it through every time. I don't read just part. So that's it's, you just have to, because there's just so many twists and turns and everything. So okay, there's that one. And my next one is I kind of fell into this one. I don't know, it's part of the series.
Marcia, what was the title of that one?
Oh, this one was called Man for Hire.
Thank you.
Yes, Paris Afton Bonds. 1986 silhouette, intimate moments. And it does have very intimate scenes in it. I was surprised with some phrases and everything that, but I've always read these books right when they came out. I used to have the whole library, but through the years, of course, they've come and gone and whatever. Yeah. So,
can I just say, like, I know the Shake romances are over, but Desert Presents, I think, because my first Presents was a desert romance, total comfort. If I see I'm getting them.
Yeah.
I love it.
And they're supposed to be such, maybe they have everything over a French person, a French man, I should say, about making love and treating their women, whatever they do. But it's a good book, and I've read it quite a few times. As a matter of fact, it sits right up here on my desk, along with this one by Susan Elizabeth Phillips called First Lady. And I have many comfort reads, but this one is part of a series. I don't know the other titles, but just the repartee between the hero and heroine, lots of humor. She writes with lots of humor, and that's what I need in a book. But just the revelations that come through in this book. And of course, this is about the president's wife, or actually a widow. He passes away, and she decides to run away from everything, because what they want her to do is to stand by the new president, who is single. And of course, they're looking for a romance themselves, but she doesn't want that. So she takes off, and she gets picked up by this man. And they go on an adventure together in an old trailer with two young children, and meet people along the way. And of course, they're slowly coming together, push, pull. He finds out things about her. She finds out things about him. And it's just mostly the humor and the growing romance between the two that just touch my heart. I mean, and this one I can read parts of, and I just did, because I found out that actually her dead husband was gay, and it was part of today's things, but she married him unknowingly that he was. And when she finds out, of course, she sticks with him, and of course, then he passes away, and that. But it is just the humor in this ties everything together. And of course, the two children, you can't resist children in a story. And of course, in the end, it's a happily ever after, as the other book was also. So, but it's First Lady by Susan Elizabeth Phillips. You can read anything of hers and you're going to be comforted.
For sure.
Right.
Definitely. She's amazing.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I wanted to just really quick put out a couple of comments that are coming up. Michelle said that she found Frenchman's Creek, the movie, on YouTube. FYI, in case anybody decides they want to watch it.
Oh, good.
So I just wanted to like put that out there. People are saying hi. Go in and read the comments later, y'all, because since this isn't StreamYard, it won't stream across the front, but it does feel funny for me to just say things like, hi, great to be here. You know what I mean? So go back there and have a look at them. And Jan just said, love that book and didn't know about the movie. So I think she's talking about the
Frenchman's Creek.
Yes. Okay, so next we have either Rachel or Erin. Let's go with Rachel. Rachel, you want to go next?
Yeah, okay. So my comfort reads, the two I've recently read actually, but I'm definitely going to put them on my keeper shelf. So it's still on my Kindle at the moment, but it's The Last Goodbye by Fiona Lucas.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to have to get myself a copy of that to go on my shelf for definite. But that's a real happy ever ending that comes out of very sad beginnings. New party, a widow upset by friends trying to get her to date again, thinks she should be over her loss of her husband. So she goes home all upset, leaves the party in full swing, and she calls her dead husband's number and talks to another man. Ooh. And he says the same phrase as her husband said, and they have this relationship over the phone where she rings him and he talks to her and talks her down and out of all of her doom and gloom, and the relationship builds, and obviously so does the love, but they've never met, let alone set eyes on one another.
Wow. That sounds really cool.
What was it called again?
What's it called again?
The Last Goodbye.
Thank you.
Lucas, and who's the author of that book?
Fiona Lucas.
Lucas, okay.
I'll be purchasing that before the end of this week.
I wrote that down.
What's the saying? Is it really a live show if nobody buys a book?
Buys anything? That's right, yeah.
That's right.
I couldn't put that one down. And then because we've all talked about her, I'm going to use what I'm currently reading, and it's Sarah Morgan. I've got all of her books, but and I would dip in and out of them all the time, but this is brilliant too. Definitely worth reading. I'm almost done, so yeah. But the heroine in this story, she was married for 20 years to a celebrity chef. She's been divorced for a year from him, and he dies in a car accident, and there's a girl in the car with him. And when she sees the image on the news of the girl in the car, she knows she has to go to this girl and help her. And she, in doing so, then she goes back to her small town home and rediscovers her friendships. And I'm hoping her first love. So.
Oh, I love the sound of that.
Yeah. I finished it back in it was really good. It was really good.
What was the name of it again?
Beach House Summer.
Oh, Beach House Summer. Okay. I have Sarah Morgan books back to when she wrote for Medical.
I love it. This is so fun, y'all. I'm giving way too many books, though. Erin, you will be next, and then I'll be last. So go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you. So I was worried that I wasn't going to be the only one, but so I go for comfort reads. Definitely go back to Jane Austen. Primarily, Pride and Prejudice is probably my most often reread, but I have a physical copy here of Emma. I don't buy Jane's books unless it's a really, really nice copy, and I love this one because it's like it almost kind of like looks like a pocket Bible sort of, yeah. But it's got the gold on the edges of the pages, and they're really thin, but definitely love to just go back to Jane Austen and just experience those angsty feelings. Emma especially, it's not my most often reread, but I do just really love re-experiencing that character growth for her. She starts off not a very good person, and it takes some big blunders for her to really come around and self-reflect. So definitely definitely just any Austen. That woman was an absolute savage. Like her satire of the time was just, I just laugh out loud reading just about any of her books. They're just great. And then my other one is more recent. I go for like a cozy mystery. So this is Partners in Lime by Bree Baker, aka Julianne Lindsay. This is part of her Seaside Cafe mysteries. Any in this series are just great for rereads. So this is Everly Swan is opening up a iced tea shop in her hometown of Charm. It's an island town, and she just has this problem that people tend to turn up dead around her. and she's always the one that discovers the body, and there's always a very personal connection, or someone that's the suspect if it's not her, and so she always takes it upon herself to investigate things. And of course the local lawman Grady Hayes is always just banging his head against the wall, dealing with her getting involved where she shouldn't. And it's
like that.
And Bree Baker, Julianne Lindsay is just a master at writing witty, bantery dialogue. Just the back and forth that her characters can have will just have you rolling, laughing. So definitely can always go back to one of her cozy mysteries.
Ooh.
I think it's so fun that you were just before, because the cozy mysteries are a comfort read for me too. And I totally wrote that down. So I'm going to start with my cozy mystery, one of my comfort reads, and that is Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie.
Oh, yeah.
Basically any Agatha Christie. And again, I am like you, Erin. I love my old books in really pretty binding. It just makes me happy. So I have, I think I have like 8 or 10 of these. I have all of Agatha Christie's books, including her Westmacots, although they were not romance, y'all. They were mostly tragedy, I'm just going to say. Did not have happy endings, but she did write a good love story. She did. One of the reasons I love Murder on the Orient Express is because it's such a sense of justice and shows such a sense of compassion from Poirot at the end. His moment of compassion is so beautiful to me, and it's just something I love. I think it's partly why I fell in love with that particular sleuth, is that he does not approve of murder, which he says in many of his books. I do not approve of murder, but he is so compassionate, and you can see that throughout the books. And I really love that. And so it's a comfort read. I'll go back and I'll get that really good, happy, good feeling at the end of the book, just like reading a really good romance for me. I can still finish it feeling with that kind of that endorphin rush, which I love. And my other comfort read is, I have so many. Y'all, Tom built me a library for my comfort reads. I have over 6,000 books in that library.
I've seen them, yes.
And I reread them all the time. Oh, Susan Wilson just said Sheila's Death on the Nile. And I love that one too. It's another one of my massive comfort reads. In fact, the last 2 years, I have been listening to audiobooks of Agatha Christie. So like I've got all the books I have reread probably 10 to 12 times each.
Wow.
Over my lifetime. And then I got them an audiobook, and I've been listening to the audiobook and just loving that. But the other one is this is by Amanda Quick, who is Jane Ann Krentz writing in her historical. It's got Rendezvous, Ravished, and Reckless, but Ravished is my ultimate comfort read from this particular series. It's kind of a Beauty and the Beast story, which is one of my favorite retellings of any kind of, and I don't like fairy tale retellings that get too close to the mark, too much on the nose, right? I really like, it's like my daughter does. She does this Disney bound thing where she has outfits all the time inspired by Disney characters, right? But she doesn't dress like Tinkerbell. She has, you know what I mean? Well, sometimes she does. She's awfully adorable. I'm just saying. But that's, Ravished is inspired by Beauty and the Beast, but it's not this like perfect retelling with the rose and all. It's just, but there are these little moments, you get these Easter eggs throughout the book that just remind you of the Beauty and the Beast story. But in addition to that, there's so much emotion. You have this character who does not believe he's worthy of love. He sees himself as the Beast. And then you have, it's total sunshine grumpy, like totally. And you have this, she just kind of takes into this place, and then, oh my gosh, the passion is so hot. It is really beautifully done too. Like there's never a love scene that doesn't feel like it fits exactly where it's supposed to. Doesn't take you to another place in the story, another emotional connection. I never feel like they're put in for just, oh, I need to have a love scene here. But they're so good. They're just, that's what I love. Anyway, so total comfort reads. And I would say that both Amanda Quick and Agatha Christie are major comfort reads for me. One of my favorite things to do, I mean, I have chairs in my library. I have chairs. And I sit on the floor and I start pulling books off the shelf, and I'll sit there for like 5 hours rereading just whatever of my favorite books. So let's hop into that. Let's talk about what makes a comfort read for you. And do I need to call, or can y'all just like jump in and say?
I think for me, because I picked angsty ones, I guess it's the angst, but knowing you can feel all that angst, and then it's going to have a happy ending. Because I know with Ishbel's Party, the heroine believes that she got drunk and killed a child, drunk driving. And that's what the police have told her. She was found in the car, and, all of this. So she dedicates the next 10 years of her life to, she becomes a nurse, and she goes to all these, I think she was in like Lebanon or somewhere when this bomb went off, and she was injured. So she has to go back to, she gets hired by the aunt of her first love. And he believes that she did this and all. And so there's just so much angst because she thinks this. I mean, of course, she finds out at the end it wasn't her. Somebody had just blamed her. But, it's just, but she's still, yeah. I mean, and the Kim Cates one was Grumpy Sunshine. I mean, he wasn't so much, he wasn't just grumpy. Ariel believed in fairy tales and all of this. And, she had this after school program called Abracadabra, where she had this white rabbit, and she helped little kids who've lost someone in their life, and she helped them with grief counseling. And the little girl that's in it had lost her mother. Mm-hmm. And so, she helps her, but she believes in all this, wonderful stuff. And he was poor. He brought up by this very strict single mother. I mean, he wasn't abused or anything. He just, he was the kid who got socks for Christmas and, that sort of thing. So he doesn't believe in any of that. And she kind of helps him. And it's, his late wife, he didn't realize what she was doing, but she was creating distance between him and his 3 daughters, because the little girls would love to go watch him shave in the morning, but the mother was telling him, no, you can't do that. He doesn't like when you do that. So, and he never understood that, this is why, that the wife was doing that, and she helps him understand and get back to his.
You definitely like that angst, and just knowing that author is going to take you safely to the place that's happy again.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Anyone else want to talk about what makes a comfort read for them?
Emotion.
Yeah.
100% emotion. Like I said about The Best Man, the scenes in this book that make me cry, and it's a good cry, because she's okay. It's going to be okay. And it's just, I live emotion. I breathe emotion. And that's what it is for me.
Yes, definitely.
I'm a Pisces. It's kind of in my nature.
Yes. And I think a sense of humor in the book is definitely for me. This is how I got through my young life and my life now. I mean, Carol knows my sense of humor. Sometimes she just goes when we Skype because of the
not quite appropriate.
Yeah. I think a sense of humor is very between the hero and heroine is great. Even though one of them is grumpy and doesn't have quite of a sense of humor, but or vice versa. I think a sense of humor is very, that gives me comfort, because I feel like, oh, I'm home, or, this is what's going to get them through their angst and their situation. And so for me, humor is great. And then the growing romance, of course, is something to watch, you know, how the characters change. So, but the humor. And Lucy, I named my GPS after Agatha Christie. Who named
Oh, that's so clever.
Things.
I love that.
Everything for me. So I call
that
it
might
Agatha.
end up in a book because
Yes.
I'm writing this one series, this cozy mystery series, where the protagonist, she's like a total mystery aficionado, and I'm like, she's gonna name her GPS Agatha Christie.
Yes.
That is so cool, Marcia. I love that. I love that.
So when you read the book and you see
That's right, you'll know that I got that from you.
that's like one of your books. They were going to what, Abu Dhabi, wasn't it?
That's right, because we had that conversation.
Because I said, Garfield was always going to send Nirmal to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Yes, she got me. I was like, where are they going to go? Where are we going to have this? Because, you know, with presents, they want, you know, these different locations. And I'm like, where are they going to go? She said that. I'm like, that's where. And also we were having a conversation because she said that. And then Jadasola was moving to Abu Dhabi. And so I was like,
Oh yeah, I saw that the last time.
Yeah.
so I did a ton of research and they went to Abu Dhabi. Anyone else want to answer what makes a comfort read for them?
I don't know. I think for me, sometimes it's just that feeling of nostalgia, which I find comforting sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, definitely nostalgia and kind of going with emotions, just fun reads too. Like this one's really fun. And also because I live in Texas, I don't actually get a winter. Like she just perfectly mentally transports you somewhere cold. You get beautiful descriptions of snow or creating snowmen, and it's just, I don't know, it's really,
and you don't have to live through it.
Yeah. Or shovel it. Yeah.
Well, for me, it's definitely, it's almost a sense of I'm not even trying to read the book. Like I can crack one of my comfort reads and it's like I'm just there already. And
you're just in it.
I usually can know a comfort read by if it's been, you know, a matter of months and I still feel like I have a deep connection to those characters, then that's definitely a sign that it's a comfort read. They feel like my best friends.
Oh, I love
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I like that. That's really good.
that. Yeah. Because since I was little, I've said books are my friends.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rachel, did you want to say about what makes a comfort read for you?
I think I like the sort of going from the drama and the angst at the beginning through all the emotions and getting that real satisfying happily ever after. So, but you know, like Aaron said earlier, that the feeling that when you've long closed the book and finished it, they're still there, and you know that's when you're going to return to.
That's what you write. I mean, I think you write what you love. That's really cool. I am going to really quickly go over to a couple of comments. Cheryl Velker said that that the series Aaron's book, in case anyone was as interested as I was in Aaron's cozy comfort read, she said there's another series that sounds like that. It's Julie Mulhern's Country Club Mysteries, and she said I love her sarcasm and regencies to the 1970s era items and TV shows. So I'm going to definitely be looking that one up. And then Susan Wilson, by the way, she's saying hi from Manchester, and she said that her comfort read is Lynn Graham, which I think is definitely, she's one of my comfort read authors too.
Me too. Yeah.
She does that angst and emotion so well. And I just want to make sure if anyone else has said, Michelle said she collects Bronte, Austen, and like Aaron, she collects the vintage copies. Strangely enough, my comfort read I have read a lot is The Gift by Danielle Still. Do you know, y'all, I never read Danielle Still, never read her. And I saw this, I don't remember, it was an interview or something, and somebody was being kind of cranky towards her. And here's me, I'm like, she wrote romance? I mean, it was saga romance, but she definitely wrote, like, I'm going to start reading her. So I'm picking up a Danielle just because I don't like people being cranky. So I'm going to go pick up one of her books.
I read her all the time, yes.
Yeah. So, did I say what made a comfort read? I did. I don't remember if I answered it. I didn't. So it's like basically what y'all said. I mean, it's emotion, it's angst, it's that feeling of sliding into a book that feels comfortable and old, and it can be written like Agatha Christie's books were written back in the 30s to the 50s, or it can be a book that is written now but makes me feel like I am revisiting some of those really positive emotions from my childhood or from my young adulthood. So yeah, a comfort read for me, it's definitely mostly romance, although some cozy mysteries. I would say there's one comfort author for me. She writes thrillers, so I will not say reading her is comfortable, but she creates such good characters that I feel like I'm in their story. I'm in these new, and that's Christina Dodd. She started off in romance, and now she writes thrillers, and she creates this world where you feel comfortable. You're immediately, I just read Point Last Scene, and it was such a comfort read in that the whole time, except for like these little scenes that get really like tense, but reading it, like the characters, I just wanted to spend all day with them. They were my friends for that period. I really liked them. You know, and sometimes those fictional friends are more comfortable than real life, because in real life you have to actually be like, you have to interact. My fictional friends, it's all coming this way. I don't have to I don't have to make any kind of response or worry if I said this, that, or, you know, it's just, I'm just like soaking that in. So that's what makes a comfort read for me, is a book that I do. I feel like I can just embrace it and be lost in it. And sometimes I know a story will take me to an emotion that I'm having in real life, but I don't want to deal with the people that are causing it in real life, because maybe I don't want to go through that confrontation, or maybe it's just not the right time. Maybe it will never be the right time. Who knows? And I will read a book that will take me through those emotions. So then I get resolution, because I get the happy ending at the end of the book.
I think connection to that. Yeah.
Yes. And then I don't feel the need to go on with that particular, whatever that situation was, whether it's something personal or even something like when COVID hit, there were a lot of comfort reads I did that helped me work through a lot of the feelings I was having because of all the grief of all the loss that we were all experiencing. And so, yeah, for me, comfort reads, they are so much more than entertainment. They get me through. They get me from today to tomorrow sometimes.
Yeah.
I think even if you haven't read the book per se, but like if you find a good series, I feel like that can be comforting. Like kind of like what Erin was saying, like I've been reading a cozy mystery series. I started this one last night, and it's been months since I read the previous two, and I was like, I want to read something comforting. Let me jump back into this series, or a good small town romance series like Debbie Maycomer's Rose Harbor Inn, or Bill Chalvis's Heartbreaker Bay. Like just knowing you have that next book to look forward to. Like you've done so good these first 4 books. I know the next 2 are going to be great. Like it's just so comforting and exciting because you have that to look forward to, I think.
And to put back on that with category, it's the same thing. If I want a certain read, it's like, yes, I will go to a heartwarming, or I'll pick up, a special edition, like it's the same idea.
It's like safety. Like I know what I'm going to get. I know what I'm going to get. And there's comfort in that. I think
know the journey you're going to go on. I read all of Carola Dunn's, her cozy mystery series, and it's set in the 1920s. And I didn't reread them. It was reading each new book. It was such comfort. It was like, so, and when I was feeling stressed, I would just start reading another one of the books, because I knew these characters. I knew what the mystery was going to do, whether I didn't know what the mystery was, but I knew what she was going to take, what journey she was going to take me on. And I think that's part of comfort reads. I do. I don't think it's having just having particularly favorite books. It's there's tropes, and we could talk about that now. Like, do you all have a favorite comfort trope? Like, is there a trope that just you really, or more than one, whatever, like something that really draws you in? Like Bree, you said, cozy mystery. It can be, that's a comfort read right there. It is for me too. What other comfort tropes do we all have?
I don't know, but when you're talking about series, I love, and I could pick up anyone in the series, Virginia Cantor's Dare Island series.
Oh, yeah.
Those are great.
Those, yes.
I like Lisa Kleypas's Friday Harbor.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Those,
She's a very good writer, and yeah.
That's a good one. Tropes. I don't know. I love Grumpy Sunshine. And I like Second Chance because I'm always wanting to rewrite history,
Redemption.
So and so's not together anymore, and it's like, oh no, I wanted them, yeah.
I like redemption.
Family or found family, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Guys, there was a period where I was feeling, I don't know, very dark. Comfort reads were vampire books for me.
I was gonna say paranormal, but I thought it would sound weird.
So I totally I went through a period where I just wanted to read about vampires. I don't know why. It just really helped me deal with all the emotions, whatever I was doing. And vampire romance. I didn't want to read about the vampires in horror that killed everybody and then ended up getting dead. Do you know, it's just like in Beauty and the Beast. I cry when he transfers from a beast back into human.
Yeah.
Because I really want him to be loved for who he is now. And I love that aspect of it. And so whenever I do a Beauty and the Beast trope, he or she are never transformed into something else physically by the end of the book. They are still that same physical, whatever beast aspect, because that's what I love. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. So you like paranormal too, Bree? Because sometimes it's a comfort read. I don't know. Does it take us far enough out of reality? I don't know, but there's just something about it. It's what I need sometimes.
I just love that you shared what you wish that would have happened in Beauty and the Beast. Part of the history of the story is that it was told to young girls to prepare them for arranged marriage. You don't know who you're going to be. Right. You don't know the man you're going to be getting set up with. So it's like, oh, Lucy, you're such a romance author. But yes, I do agree. For me, I think I turned to paranormal because I don't want to miss a single detail, and authors create worlds that feel very like reality, but they add their own spin on it. Yeah. But I think as far as tropes, I'm a Hallmark watcher, so I will always love a girl returns home type of for me it's comforting because I'm like, as I continue to get older, at any point I could be starting completely over, and I find comfort in knowing that there's so many stories that are like, hey, this is okay, women do it all the time.
Yes Can we just take a second and talk about Rachel's upcoming Dolphin Bay?
Oh, yes.
Oh, please.
Because I feel like that trope is so real as part of this book.
Yeah, that's right. She goes home.
Can we just, do you mind just talking about a little bit? But because I'm
exactly what Bree just said. It's second chances and a girl going back home. So that's obviously it's my proof copy at the moment, but that's it. So. But basically, it's small town America set in Wales. Dolphin Bay is the series. So
it's on pre-order for me. It's coming tomorrow, right? I'm getting it tomorrow. I am really excited about this book. I love small town. I love that second chance. There's an aspect to the second chance, kind of obscure, but it's the older woman who is finding something new in life. Mm-hmm. I love that in a book, and that's very comforting. And it's always been part of a comfort read for me, but as I get older, it's even more so. It's even more because there's so many things we have to sort of redo and restart. And Marcia, you're an author who's still aspiring for publication, right?
Right.
And you believe in that, and it's like we want to read books that say, yes, we can still find that.
And I'm old enough to be all of yours mothers, except but it's exciting for me. I mean, my book is probably 8 years in the writing, but I've had a lot of bumps along the way, and this last one has put me, over the top. But I'm working on it. But hopefully, I'm going to M&M in October. I'm going to pitch my book again. Hopefully to Megan from Thule, and she requested it the first time, so I'm hoping the second time. But it'll be another new adventure for me. I I didn't look at writing as a career because, you know, I was in a lifestyle that didn't, you know, that I didn't think I wanted a career, but now being by myself, I think that it might be something to look forward to, even though I am
to fill some of those gaps.
That's it. Right. And I'm excited about it. So Kim and Carol, my two critique partners, are like shoving me.
Gently.
Accountability.
Yes.
Yeah, it's what I need. So I'm looking forward to it. And I like the book that I'm writing. And so I'm going to, just like everybody says,
just
you know,
have to keep at it.
Bed, but I'm not going to do that. So yes.
I mean, I did my first book signing at Barnes and Noble on my 62nd birthday. So, hey, don't ever give it.
That's right. I love that. I love it. Yeah. So life is definitely about change. And so I think we find comfort in the books that can take us through those transitions in life, whatever they are, because there's so many transitions. You go from being sometimes single, then sometimes getting married, sometimes going into other types of friendships, relationships, whatever. For me, it was like having kids, then the kids moving out, then the kids having their own kids. And now, do you know, we have a grandchild he is being adopted in, and he is about to have his first baby. I'm going to be a great grandparent. And I'm like, life is about change, y'all. Life is just about change. And books help us navigate that. Right. I'm going to really quick list a couple of the comments for some favorite comfort reads. Michelle Scott said, the gift made me have all the emotions. And I totally agree with that one. I love The Gift by Julie Garwood. I think someone else may have mentioned Julie Garwood up above, but I missed that comment. I'm sorry. Jay Anderson, and I said, Essie Summers is an old friend. Yes. See, those authors, they become friends to us. And Jan Pearson said, Linda Castillo is a good comfort read. Michelle Scott said, The Historian by Elizabeth, sorry, my mouse was over it, Elizabeth Kostova is a very good vampire read.
Oh,
thank you, my dear. I'm writing that one down.
It's a chapter that's worth every page.
Yeah.
I just want to say that Angie Garcia Art said she's very excited for you, Marcia. And yes, shove her to Carol.
Love it. Fan club, I'm sorry. Call them all.
What? I haven't even looked at time, y'all. I haven't even looked at time. I thought we'd only been here about half an hour. Because we're heading up to the end of our hour. I don't think we have time for another question.
No.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm still writing down the Elizabeth. Sorry. Okay.
We're gonna crash Amazon after this, probably.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you all for coming. Thank you everyone who's here in the chat. And this has been so much fun. I love chatting with y'all. This was just great. Anyone who wants to read that wonderful second chance romance, pick up Rachel's book. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the title, Rachel, so pop it up again.
Starlight and Second Chances.
Starlight and Second Chances. Isn't that a fabulous title? Isn't that fabulous? And I'm going to warn y'all, if you guys are in the US and you try to find it on Amazon, you have to type in Starlight and Second Chances by Rachael Thomas. For some reason, and it goes both ways, because I have UK readers who get real frustrated when they type in titles that I put up. They don't show up for pages and pages if it's an indie release. And it's the same way if you're a UK author and you're going into Amazon.com, you have to put the whole thing in. So put the whole thing in, y'all, and you will find it. And this has just been fun. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
It's been so great. I hope we can get together again next year sometime, because this was just fabulous.
We'll think of another topic. And
I know. We may just do a whole nother comfort read at the end of the year. It's a great way to end the summer. It's a great way to end comfort reads.
We'll never run out of comfort reads.
Oh, no. I don't think we'll have any trouble with that. So thank you all. We are going to sign off now. Thank you everyone for coming. And please go back and read the comments. I think, Marcia, especially, you want to read all these wonderful comments you got.
Yes.
Some
I sent
very
out
nice
emails.
ones.
You invited a lot of friends.
Thank you all for showing up.